Welcome to Perpetual Backlog Podcast, your gaming podcast that hopefully will try to help you get through that backlog of yours or encourage you to do so. I'm your host, Aqua, and joining me like usual is the guy that doesn't like to play video games because he's got to go to school, Dollet.
Hey, I had game time this week, though.
Oh, man. And the lady from Weebland.
I mean, I'm not going to associate myself with the word weeb. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway. So,
Hey guys, don't forget to sub to the channel if you're into what you're hearing. While you're down there, remember to like the video as much as we like you. You'll be good now.
I did it again this week, guys.
Do tell.
Huh?
I bought a video game.
Don't you have enough of those things?
In a summer where I'm playing at least 4 video games in the span of 2 months, I buy another video game.
All
Which
right.
one is it this time?
To keep on the topic of weeb stuff, I bought Soccer Wars
Oh.
and started
Okay.
playing that.
Yeah.
I'm actually having a lot more fun with that game than I thought I would.
Is it the recent one?
Yeah, it's the most recent one.
The one with the designs by Kubo?
Yes, the ones with the designs by Kubo, yeah.
Ah, right. I know nothing about the series. The extent of my knowledge is it's a dating sim with a mech fighter with designs by Kubo.
It's a dating sim with a mech hack and slash, like, Muso type gameplay.
Yeah, I've heard of the series, but it's a visual novels type of thing, right?
Yeah, it's like a visual novel, honestly. It's actually the most high-rent visual novel I've ever played. Just because you get to run around and, it's actual 3D character models and all that crap.
I do like the mechs. They're cool.
The mechs are really like the first chapter of that game was actually like I was watching a mech anime. It was really good. I'm in the middle of chapter 2 of Soccer Wars. It's really. I was laughing because I was already at a point where I could like romance options with Sakura already after like chapter 1, and I was like, this is way too fast. This is the fastest visual novel I've ever went through. But then I'm like, maybe I could just romance all the chicks in the game at the same time. That seems like something that'll probably happen in this game.
You scallywag.
Hey man, I didn't want to romance Sakura, but after the first chapter, she's not best girl in the game yet, but she like right up there. Anastasia's best girl, but that's just because she's hot. She's like actress, model, lady that does like a lot of music stuff, and she's got a giant rack.
Okay.
Priorities.
So, no, question though, because I haven't really played the series myself. So, the point of view character is who you are playing as. Who is this person? Is it just your projection, or what? What is it?
No, it's not your projection. You're playing as Seijimo. It's either Seijimo or Seijiro. I forget what his like actual first name is. Kamiyama. He is a captain of the Japan Navy, and he's called back to Japan on a mission to be part of the Imperial Review Squad or Force, which is the group of people that like protect this section of Japan from these things called demons, which they look like giant demons, and that's you use the mechs to fight them. But he's been placed as captain of the flower unit, which is at the start it's Sakura, Hatsuho, and Asami. And while they have mechs and they can like do stuff, they're not very trained well, and their cover is that they're part of this Imperial theater where they have to host a bunch like plays and stuff to like get money to like actually fund the underground stuff they do to protect the city. You come in as the captain, You have to do stuff to help, like, fix up the theater, to do your plays, to get money, to fund fixing mechs and all that stuff, because, like, only your character and Sakura have a working mech, because the other ones are, like, completely shot. They're being threatened of being shut down, and the only way that they can figure out how not to get shut down is to win this thing called the World Review Games or something like that, which is going to be a tournament against all the other, like, sections of this, like, review squad that have mechs, and that's supposed to happen in, like, a couple of days in the game. So I think you pass that, and then you have like a whole bigger storyline to go down. Like I said, I'm only in chapter 2, so I have no idea exactly what the hell's going on half the time. I just know that there's this Shanghai review squad that comes in to help you a little bit, but as you're, like, in the middle of being attacked or whatever, they start attacking you, because they're like, you just need to, sit back and let us win all this stuff and get shut down because we don't like you and all that crap. And I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck, people? Like, we're fighting demons here, not ourselves. Anyway, I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, it's a long-running series. There was a first game on. It was a pixel sprite game as well, wasn't it?
The first game was on the Sega Saturn.
Ah, there you go. Oh gosh, that's a long time.
And then it was remade for the PS2. And I think this PS4 version is a reboot of the Sega Saturn PS2 game. But it's pretty good. Yeah, the designs are done by Kubo. Kubo actually has some pretty good designs. Anyway, I picked that up because I'm an idiot and I want to play more games than I really have time to play.
Understandable. Get to anything else?
Yeah, I beat Yuito's story in Scarlet Nexus.
Okay, without spoilers, because, folks might not have finished playing it.
Yeah.
How would you rate his storyline?
I would rate the story of the video game, because from phase 9 to the end of the game, it's going to be the same thing that you play on either Kasane or Yuito. Yeah. I would rate the story of the game in general like a 7. It's pretty mid. It's meh. Gameplay makes this game a 9, though. Because after Chapter 9 to the end of the game, where the gameplay just fucking opens up for you, this game is good. This game is, like, ridiculous fun. I did a full 10-hour stream just doing this game because I was like, I can't put this down. I gotta stop. I gotta beat the game.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Oh my gosh.
Can't stop, won't stop. It was really good. I'm not gonna spoil the story, but, like, the beginning of the game, pretty good. All right, like, story wise, pretty good. They set a foundation for a lot of, like, cool stuff and everything. Then you get the hints of, like, the time travel that I said, and it's like, okay, I understand what time travel could do. Then there's this midsection of the game where the story gets just kind of dumb. There's one point in the time where I'm like, I'm doing that 10-hour stream or whatever. I just, like, yell at the screen because I'm like, this makes no fucking sense. I'm like, what is the point of this interaction right here? Even if it was, like, something else or whatever, because I can't say anything because it, like, spoils it. But, like, even if it went this way or whatever, your head would not be, like, thinking anything different. I was like, this is just a dumb interaction. But then after that point, the game story goes back to being pretty good.
Probably just sounds like it gets too high concept for its own good.
Yeah, it just gets really weird. I'm just like, I just don't understand. And then the end of the game, because you're like, with the final boss battle was actually pretty fun. It was your obvious, like, this is a JRPG, so there's 3 phases to this final boss, all right? You fight the human version of this boss, then you fight the other version of this of that guy, and then it goes back to being the human version or whatever. And it does like the whole like tropey anime shit where you're separated from your friends, and then, like, midway through the, like, last part of this, or like a partway through the last part of the boss, 2 of your friends jump in, and then 2 more of your friends jump in, and then 4 more of your friends jump in. I think I did that in Tales once, I think. Anyway, this game's good. Story's mid. Story's definitely mid, but the gameplay is definitely high tier. So if you like hack and slashy JRPGs, this is definitely one to pick up.
Where they have
because, like I said, at that chapter 9 point, you're pretty much set when it comes to gameplay. I played 14. I started the Tales marathon today. So I'm like 4 hours into Symphonia. And by 4 hours, I'm actually like 3 hours into Symphonia. This past hour, I was like literally set it to hard mode, set Lloyd on auto.
And did that thing you said you weren't going to do?
Well, I'm farther into the game now, so I'm not like gated by the certain story segments or whatever. So I'm just like running around on hard mode, just like getting into auto battles, trying to get to 250. Well, I'm at 200 encounters, and I started it at 100 encounters, so I only need to get 156 more encounters on hard mode, and then I'll get a title. And then I'll never do that ever again. I'll drop it back down to normal, and I'll just fucking blast through the game. That's all I played, right? Yeah, that's all I played.
Yeah, are you sure?
Yeah.
As for me, I finally had time to game this week, which is rare, and I will take it. It wasn't much, but I did get some game time. I started the intermission DLC. I'm not terribly far. I have both members of the party. I have my first summon, and I've beaten the area's first group of like Fort Condor players. I don't care what anyone says. Fort Condor isn't more fun. It's just more polished.
Oh,
it's better, but only just.
Yeah? Is it same mechanics?
Does that mean more fun though?
I mean,
if it's better.
No, it's just less jank.
Do you still pick your units and like just set them? And
you still
just wait?
pick your units and you sit them, and they do all the work, and you sit back and plan. So if you don't like RTSs, you're still not going to like Fort Condor. Looks very pretty though. And the way they've worked it in, I guess, is really novel. It's really novel. But I don't really want to talk about any part of the story because I feel like that's just unfair to anyone who ever wants to play this game. But like I said, I got the main characters, and I'm enjoying playing as them. I just kind of had a mental block on me today, and I couldn't power through the way I wanted to. So, those two aside, I also decided to play a bit of something. I guess that's a whole lot like Fort Condor, but better. I started up another route of 3 houses.
Aha.
I've already beaten
Fort Condor, but better.
It's just better. I've already played through the Black Eagles route. I played through the Crimson Flower route, which I think, from what I've been told by everyone, is probably the best route. But couldn't be sure, so I started up a Golden Deer route, and I'm quite enjoying that. So I'm going to lead these idiots through all the shenanigans they have to fight through, and it's going to be fun. Not.
I thought I heard Blue Lions was the best route.
Maybe. I was going pretty subjective. The way it was explained to me from the various things I heard, I don't like Dimitri's character. I think he's whatever. I really enjoyed the Edelgard story, and I enjoy the Edelgard story that splits off to a second route. And I thought that was super sick. It's the first time I've been able to beat a Fire Emblem game, like start to finish, since I played as Iliud, Hector, and Lindis. So it's been a long time.
I was gonna joke. I was actually like, no. Everybody says the Edelgard route's the best route, but they also don't like to say that because Edelgard turns into Hitler. So
here's the thing. People said that, and a lot of the characters in Black Eagles were characters I was like, oh, I'm really interested in learning more about them. But I hear all this awful stuff about Edelgard. Why is this? I've played through the route. She's fine. I have no idea where that notion comes from.
I don't know. I didn't even get to the time skip in 3 houses before I. Oh, by the way, I sold my Switch, so I don't have it anymore.
I finally sold it. Okay. Did that mean you completed Donkey Kong Country?
No, he said he couldn't make it through.
No. I said I got to the second boss, and I said, "Fuck it, I can't play this game. The Donkey Kong games are not for me."
Yeah.
Okay. You tried.
But anyhow, I made it. I'm making my way slowly but surely through the Golden Deer stuff. I'm still very, very early on. Hilda and Claude are great. I've already stolen Bernadetta again. And I picked up Felix. And anyone else is a bonus. Other than that, I guess...
Hilda.
It's
the best.
Other than that, the last thing that I'm going to comment on, despite not really getting around to do it, is watch SGDQ, guys. It's back. It's back as of yesterday. So, I mean, I plan on catching bits and pieces of it throughout the week if I'm able to. Remember, this is a charity stream for speedrunning, so anything helps. As I find out more information, I will update future videos with what the charity is. Please look forward to it.
You know what I didn't hear you did, Dollet?
What's that?
You didn't start up Tales of Zestiria.
I did not. Funny enough, I figured I had a very short amount of time. Why would I punish myself like that?
You could enjoy the game.
I could, it's possible. Or I could play games that I know I'm going to enjoy. Big braining this.
Indeed.
But yeah, that's me. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to do more this week, but I certainly hope so.
Yes. Well, for me, I did the usual. I played 14, but I'll get to that because there's something at length I'd like to talk about. But I also played a little bit of Monster Hunter. That was delightful. I died a lot though, out of my own silly mistakes. I've learned today that drinking a potion at a stupid time leads to stupid consequences. That's what I learned today. Oh yeah. And then I actually got round to downloading and playing once again a game that I am really stoked to just spend time on to relax, which is Sky. Sky is by that games company, also known for Journey. And if you know Journey, you probably understand where I'm coming from, where I mean by relax, because like Journey, Sky has you as a little like avatar that has no real distinct features about their face or body until you progress, of course. But you are a little person going through a journey on like all these fantastical or beautiful landscapes that you can traverse and take your time to do so. And like Journey as well, you are initially by yourself, but you discover along the way other players, and they are actual other players as well, not just random NPCs. You can interact with them various ways, but no speaking at all. It's more like body communication, and you can even hold their hand in a wholesome way, might I add. A wholesome hand holding. Okay. Yeah, so you can actually just... It's cute! It's so adorable! It's so
Holding
adorable.
hands is lewd.
No, not in this game. It's wholesome. You would just hold hands and discover things, you know, just walk around, fly as well. You could, because this game is called Sky. You a lot of the mechanics you use is to do with flying through the sky, expanding your air time and stuff like that. Oh my goodness, I could just stand around this game and just gaze at the scenery and like drift my camera and turn my camera here and there to like get a really, really nice frame. My goodness, it's beautiful. It's beautiful and relaxing. I like playing this before bedtime. It's the best time. It's so, I just unwind every stress that has raveled around my brain. It's great. So I do recommend. It's on the Switch. It's free. It's free. You don't have to spend any money at all if you so wish.
Except for me, I would have to spend another $300 to play it.
Wow. Oh.
Because I don't have a Switch.
Well, actually, you don't have to. It's also on mobile. It was first on mobile, in fact. You can get it on iPhone, I think Android, I'm not sure. But definitely
I can wait
iPhone.
for Windows 11.
I'm not sure if it's on PC though. I don't think so. There was talk about it being on PC, but no.
But Windows 11 is going to have that built-in Android emulator.
Oh, that's true. So if it is on Android, I'm not sure if it is. You have to double check. But definitely on iPhone because that's where I played it first. And I played it on an old iPhone, and it nearly heated up and melted in my hands. That's why I stopped playing. That's the only reason why I stopped playing this game. There was some injury. But that's not the that game's company's fault. It was all my own iPhone's fault. So blame Apple.
Looks like a kind of a mixture of like No Man's Sky and Journey.
Yeah, you don't travel to different planets, but there is like
it's just UI
gate
wise.
portals. Oh, I see. It's very minimalistic as well, which is nice. I mean, it was initially designed for a phone interface, but it does transfer very well to Switch. I really like the port. It's very easy to play. Yeah, I do recommend it if you want to relax and chill and just enjoy a gorgeous environment. Just explore. It's great for those explorer people. Yes. You can also customize your character eventually. And you can also play music and stuff too. That's great.
That's good.
All those very interesting social interactions. How do you communicate without speaking? Oh, this is we have to find out.
Well, you carry a candle. That's what you do.
Yeah. If you see your whole character is built on fire and light. So if your light and fire goes out, then your abilities diminish. So you have to make sure you don't get wet or anything like that. You can like go to like a lit candlelight and repower yourself, but you have to be careful. There are obstacles and enemies to avoid and stuff. It's cool. I like it. But yeah, what else? Oh yes, so that was the main thing I played, but I also spent a fantastic day on, I guess it's your Saturday. It was Saturday.
Yeah.
For me, it was Sunday. Yeah, time zones. But yeah, I played 14 specifically to attend Sly's birthday party.
Woo! Happy birthday, Sly!
Yeah!
Woo!
Woo!
He's an old man.
Yeah, now he pulled out all the stuff. He went full throttle with planning for this party in Final Fantasy XIV itself. It's a party inside a game, but he had like his whole mansion set up to be like a disco nightclub, and he's always teamed up with a Lounge. It's a disco community. They also have their own website, which I encourage you to look at. Is allurloungexiv.com. Allure spelled ALLURE. They have all the like DJ'd music and stuff there. Also, if you join their Discord, which I'm sure is on their website and possibly Twitter as well, you can actually hop in to whenever they hold their nightclub nights and just like listen along to the music while you're in the game dancing with as many emotes as you can. They also encourage like a lot of like dressing up so you can feel good while you're stuck at home during these pandemic times. Glamour is everything, of course. It's endgame after all. They have themed nights and stuff, which is very much what this Sly's party was. So for Sly, he had a 90s mech anime themed birthday. Because if you know Sly, he loves his mechs.
What a great choice.
Mecha Policeman's Ball.
Oh yes, so if you like Dominion Tank Police, or if you like Pat Labor or Appleseed, you would have loved this party because those were the 3 teams he set up. There was like a costume for each team. I chose Appleseed because I really like essentially the mechs that are in there. It's like an exoskeleton type mech.
Oh, I wish I could have gone.
Slide into. It's
I would
cool.
have absolutely dressed up in the Pat Labor stuff.
Oh yeah, the Pat Labor stuff is interesting.
That's Sly's favorite.
Damn right, he's a man of fine taste.
Oh. That's what he went as well. So also they had this mount themes as well because there was also a race setup in the housing ward that they were in. They went around and like constructed this racing course, and they had these very specific rules as well. You can only go if you had the mounts chosen. I think also the mounts too, but you were not allowed to have, I think it was a Clouds Racer racing bike.
Yeah.
Because the speed on it is different. I think it's much faster than the usual mounts. But yeah, they went through a tutorial race. There's a map that you could follow too. And they did the tutorial race. While we were doing that, I would run to the beach with loads of other people, and we'd like set up like a place to cheer near the end of the race. Because at the end of the race, it was like a mix of swimming and running and riding a mount. And at the very, very end, they had like a climbing puzzles to do. So that's, I mean, I'm not going to say how angry jumping puzzles make me. But I will exclaim that it is a lot. So there's no way I was going to enter this race simply because of that at the end. Because I would not have been able to do it. But it was
a triathlon, is what it was.
Yeah, it was essentially a triathlon. Yeah, exactly. So it was at Shiragane's, housing ward. With like on the beach, there's that really tall lighthouse place.
Yeah. So we didn't get to see that bit of that party because Sly had the DJ.
Yes, that's right. He was in the nightclub all night. But it's a shame that maybe someone has recorded the race. I don't know, because there's a lot of people taking photographs and following along. So maybe there'll be a video that crops up now and again. Perhaps, I hope. Because that is pretty exciting. Just being on the beach as well, cheering along, that was a good time. Yeah, it was really good. So also he had like before to just simply advertise this party, he made this video. And he had like Japanese voiceover reciting all this script that he'd written himself in this video. It was all like really well done. And then they had this drinks menu as well. And he went out the way to like put all the ingredients for mixes and stuff for this drink so you can make them at home. And he has a menu as well on the website, on the Allure website, which you can see. If you go to / slide menu, you can see the drinks menu. They're still up. That's cool. There was lots of people I recognized at the party as well. There was a lot of like VIP guests. You can probably guess a number of them as well. I think Tequila. I saw Tequila there.
Oh, almost everybody was there.
Yeah. 11 was there.
Anybody
Tequila
that
was there,
anybody
Denmo.
that could get the primal.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. My gosh, I was not bored at all. I was there the whole night from start to finish. There was a really, really nice group photo at the end as well. And there's loads and loads and loads of screenshots people had taken on Sly's Discord, as well as Twitter and Allure Lounge as well. I highly recommend checking it out. I think someone also posted up videos of the nightclub itself too. Although it's bound to be on Sly's VOD if you want to look at that.
Oh yeah, the entire thing's on his VOD.
Oh yeah. Fucking awesome music. I would like to talk about as well. He has his own radio station with Tokyo Pop. And it's a licensed music station that he plays every week. You can see on his stream.
Station WSLY.
Oh yeah, pretty damn good music. That's what he's playing all night.
He does it every Saturday. This party was specifically on the first Saturday of July, which is where he normally DJs the night.
Yeah.
For not for Allure Lounge, but like instead of going to Allure Lounge, you go to his place.
Yeah. There's going to be an anniversary as well for his radio station, I think, very soon.
That's next month.
So next month, yeah. So keep your eyes peeled for that. There's usually a themed dress code for it too, so probably Velvet Room themed, perhaps. You'll see. Oh man, I love that kind of stuff. This kind of stuff is what keeps me in Final Fantasy XIV, I gotta say. All these little things. Like, I was in an FC on the UK's data center. It was the very first FC I joined. And we would always have these themed, like social events. We even did like a freaking fashion walk. We'd like made videos, very much like a TV show almost. And we'd put it up on YouTube and stuff, just for fun. There was no real other reason for it, but it was just really good, like mingling and socializing together and just being silly. I loved those. Well, actually, one of our favorite games we used to play in Costa del Sol, there's that lighthouse, and we would play essentially targets with ourselves. So one person would leap off and be the target, and we'd have to try and get as close to them as possible. And we'd all hear the horrible crunch noise you would make when you leap off the edge.
Where you break your ankles.
Yeah, my goodness. It was very fun though. We used to do that shit all the time. They still do too, whenever I jump on the data center.
There's a lot of 14 stuff that ends up getting done by a lot of people in this game that like nobody normally knows about. mainly because you got to be kind of like slightly in the RP side of the community.
Well, this all really sounds very, very much in keeping with the topic of the week, no?
Yeah.
So we might as well get into it,
definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you want to do that right now, let's go. So I wrote an intro to this. So, a lot of things have been happening. The last couple of weeks have pushed gaming communities to the front of the news or have created buzz on social media feeds with a lot of passionate reactions. Now, this gives us a chance to talk about gaming communities as a whole, both good and bad, and how social media and online communities are both a boon and also a hindrance to themselves. I will lead with a simple question, however, so please have a think. What was the first gaming community you remember being part of, and positive and negative experiences? What do you recall from those times?
I can't answer this question.
You can't?
Answer this question.
That seems
I cannot answer
really
this question.
suspect. Well, I can.
Suspect.
I'll keep it pretty brief because it's pretty simple. I grew up on my little spit of land, my little rock in the ocean, and big thing for me was to go down to the arcade on the weekends. Well, I say arcade. To go down to the cinema on the weekends, spend a ridiculous amount of time in the arcade playing Tekken 4. There was a bunch of us. It was great, except there were a couple people in there who were just leagues better than everyone else, and that was rough. But that was like the first larger group I really sat in with that was gaming oriented, like purely gaming oriented.
Yeah. All right, I'll be second then. Just give Aqua a chance to word what he wants to say.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I would probably say, pulling it so far back, like to early 90s, I would say. It's actually the first community I would say was my friends together. Like it was back in the day where online was not a thing at all, and we would go to each other's houses to play games with each other, and we would exchange cartridges and stuff like that. So they were really freaking fun times of mine. Like I remember, I didn't have Micro Machines, but we wanted to play Micro Machines, so we'd just like go a few doors down, and we'd like play against each other and inevitably fall out because someone won more times than they should have. And then we we would play. Like I've had a friend who had an Amiga. Like an old type of gaming PC of sorts. Amiga is Amiga though. But yeah, I would play Monkey Island and stuff with them. And then probably not talk to him to the week because the only I wanted to play was Monkey Island.
Wow.
But no. And then there was the inevitable Sega versus Nintendo spiel. That was way back too, even during those times of non-internet. We would do this at school. We like Sonic's the best, and then Mario's the best, and then we'd just argue and throw stupid words at each other. But yeah, like we'd even swap magazines and stuff too. Swap magazines, swap demo discs. Oh god, that was awesome. But going to online community, actually, I think one of the first ones I joined was Maple Story of all things. I was just discovering what the whole point was of people going on the internet and playing games with each other, because I was away from home a lot, or I was away from my friends, because I did move around a lot in my youth because of what my dad's job was. So I just wanted that feeling again back from my youth, where I used to spend fool around with friends and go to each other's houses. And I guess the internet at that point was the only way to do that and connect with people again like that. So Maple Story was my first experience, although it was a very bizarre one because I didn't know what to expect, talking to strangers on the internet. And they would do weird stuff too, just random throwing all these abbreviated words at me and stuff, and I was like, what the hell does this mean?
What the hell does WTH mean?
Yeah, what's a ruffle?
What's a copter?
Yeah, so yeah, I'd steadily try to acquaint myself with this new way of communication essentially and try to navigate that. And then I would end up going to Final Fantasy XI, which is like one of the big MMOs I really stayed with as well.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was really good for me though. I had a good experience. Like I was just a teeny tiny taro because of course I was. This little gerbil thing, and I was just like sitting around. Oh freaking, what was it? Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, it was one of the towns anyway, the hub towns.
Oh, Windows then.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
No.
It was the other one, the castles.
Sandoria.
Sandoria, that's it. I remember the bagpipes.
It's
so yeah, I
always
was
the
just sat
bagpipes.
around. Always bagpipes, it blared in my ears. But yeah, I was just like sat around, not knowing what to do. I was like, it's just the time where like all community, like nationalities were mixed together anyway. And I was just like sat around feeling a bit lost at this tiny taro in this gigantic city. And then I would just sat there twiddling my thumbs, wondering what to do next and trying to read the quest line. And then someone would walk up to me. It was like, I think it was a Mithra person, walked up to me, and they just like squatted in front of me and went, hello. And I was like, hi? Question mark. It's like, are you new to this game? I was like, yes, I am. I'm just trying to figure out what to do next, and I'm really new, and I don't have any gear or anything. So I'm wondering if I can do so and so. And he was okay, I've got you. And they gave me 300 gil. No, 3,000 gil, sorry. And that was a lot to me at the time. It's like 3,000 gil. That was awesome. I was flabbergasted. I was flabbergasted. Yeah, and they just pat my head and walked off. And I was like, okay, is this what people do? But that did paint my first experience though, because from then on I was like, oh yeah, it's nice to be nice. I will help. I will pass this kindness along. Next time I have enough money to spare, I will help a new person out. And then yeah, it went on from there honestly with Final Fantasy XI. I ended up making quite a few friends. I unfortunately did not manage to find anyone from Final Fantasy XI in 14 though, which was a shame. It would have been nice to like pal around with people I used to know, but alas, that's the nature of the internet. Sometimes you make friends and you stay with them forever, and then other times they just disappear into the void of the internet. I don't know. But wherever they are, I hope they're doing all right. Yeah, I guess that was my first experience.
So what I meant by like I can't say, or like I can't answer this question. I yes.
Yeah, I know.
I can't answer this question, and I'll keep it short and simple. All right.
Thank you.
I got hard into Kingdom Hearts. All right, and my first forays onto the internet was to, when's Kingdom Hearts 3 gonna come out, huh? Because I'm straight out of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I'm like, man, I need Kingdom Hearts 3. And I found a forum called KingdomHearts3.org, and there went like 4 to 5 years of my life. I had been on this forum for so long. I would get out of school, go get on my computer for hours, talk to people on this forum. It was a nice forum. It was a nice Kingdom Hearts community. Everybody was there because they loved Kingdom Hearts and everything like that. But there were bad sides to this forum. This forum was very drama heavy. At least Dollet knows one of my friends that have come from this forum, Imperius, or Zeke, who raided with us. Yes. He's from that forum.
Okay.
So I've kept him and his brothers from that forum. So I've kept a few friends from it. Oh, that forum was trash, man. That was. I look back on that forum and I'm like, holy shit, this was a dumpster fire. Oh. But I had potentially like some really good times on it. Like, you know, I wouldn't trade it for anything. There's a lot of RPing. There was a thread called the Sexy Clan thread, and it was just literally a shit posting thread that lasted for like 80,000 pages. All right.
Oh my goodness. 80,000.
It was years and years of being on this forum. All right, and we had anywhere from like 30 to like 150 people on this forum at a time. So, sometimes I miss those days, and sometimes I'm just like, holy shit, thank God I'm out of that. Because when I think of communities, one of the first ones that come into my head is the Kingdom Hearts community, and god damn do I hate it.
Is this a love-hate relationship?
Oh no, this is now a hate relationship.
It's a hate.
Yeah. Because everybody that like at the moment that tries to defend Kingdom Hearts, I'm like, you need to see the light. It's not a good series. It's not good at all anymore. But no, yeah, okay. Kingdom Hearts community was the first one I jumped into, and it's the first one I've probably jumped out of, actually. To be fair. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
I don't want to go years. I could talk about the Kingdom Hearts community for years.
Well, we can follow up with this. So, thinking back to the beginnings of, where your experience came from, and how they like transferred to internet communities, and how the internet itself has progressed. Like it has evolved, it has changed. People's communication skills also have developed, and how people approach each other, talk to each other, express themselves on the internet has changed. What have you noticed over time? What's the main thing that's stuck with you, or has been striking?
Well, I think for me, because I'm probably gonna have the starkest difference, because it sounds like a lot of your communities were either friends-based or already online. Like I said, mine was just a local arcade. I guess a local cinema with an arcade attached. So these are people that when I finally moved away and joined the FGC as in like an online type of deal, like it's night and day. It's a completely different atmosphere. It's a completely different level of competition, level of information spread rather. Like it's so stark. The sheer population difference and density of it is just absolutely overwhelming and so unique to the internet. I mean, it's like to go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 12 of us in that arcade to suddenly I'm seeing threads or videos with hundreds of people, thousands of people chiming in. It's crazy. And I mean, like Aqua said, it's not always good. There is drama, as you can imagine. But yeah, no, just like the stark difference in numbers is a huge thing. It just opens up to so many more possibilities, so many more positions to find yourself in.
How about you?
Kingdom Hearts community has stayed the same from the moment I joined it to the moment I left, which was 2 years ago. No, they're all still shit. So.
Okay,
they never grew up.
Oh,
they never grew up.
Let's ask a few more leading questions.
Yeah.
I'm sure population density changed because Kingdom Hearts did become way more popular at like a point. I don't know when. But I'm sure it did.
So it got worse.
That's not what I said. So like when you say it hasn't changed, like so all the main figures in the community are still the same, all of the talking points are still the same.
Okay, so like when I left that forum, that we were in is gone forever.
Sure.
Doesn't exist anymore. Most of the people in that community I have not seen since then. Some of them I do keep like tabs on. I have a few of them on Facebook, but most of them have went their separate ways. Have done. I have no idea what they do. Now I honestly didn't know about like the keykeepers or anything until after I left this forum. So I didn't know about Cynical, didn't know about HMK, didn't know about Limit Form, didn't know about any of them. I feel like they probably didn't start doing stuff until after that forum kind of like died out anyway, because YouTube didn't get into this like super into like everybody making YouTube stuff until around 2012, 2014 anyway. I would say that like it's really hard because while some of the figureheads that are in the KH community, like I said, like HMK and Cynical and all them, like they're good and knowledgeable or whatever. The only one I really like actually out of them all is Cynical. All the other ones just kind of feel like, now I want to say they all simp the game too hard.
Yeah, that's always a possibility.
Well, while I feel like when I was watching that last video that Cynical made about like the Kingdom Hearts Union Cross ending, like I could just hear it in his voice where he was just like, what the fuck am I even talking about? Like, but like, if you say anything bad about Kingdom Hearts like in front of like some of the other ones, they sometimes will like jump down your throat. That's like the hardest part about the Kingdom Hearts community that I couldn't stand, is that I understand like you want to defend a fandom or whatever, you want to defend your game, but Kingdom Hearts is not that game to defend. Be like the people in WoW. When people tell WoW players that WoW sucks, they're like, yeah, it fucking sucks. All right. I feel like the KH community should do that. Like, KH sucks. Yeah, you're right. It does. But you still enjoy it.
I think that's a rarity in communities like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it shouldn't be.
For a community to be so self-aware. Because even thinking about the fighting games community, like what you are describing is what everyone else would describe in the FGC is those are old heads. Those are people who are just they are set in their ways. This is it for them. No matter how many games come out, Third Strike is still the best game ever. There has never been one better. There never will be one better. For some people, it's Street Fighter 4, best game ever made. Some people, it's Tekken 3, best game ever made. And there's just this unwillingness to grow and see that there has been a shift now, and to see past that and to see new possibilities. It does kind of sound like the Kingdom Hearts fan base is still kind of stuck riding that Kingdom Hearts 2 high. It just never came down off that.
But even after Kingdom Hearts 3, they're just like, Kingdom Hearts 3 is so good, and I'm just like, did you play the game?
Agree to disagree.
It's like this. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I don't want to. I can't talk about Kingdom Hearts.
But in terms of the community itself, it migrated, right? It moved from.
I mean, yeah, it went from my forum to like seeing what happens on YouTube and everything like that.
And is YouTube the
I don't
de facto
feel like it's
place
changed. Now? YouTube is pretty much the de facto place for Kingdom Hearts.
I have to ask this because that's not the case for everyone. I mean, like, joke about it all you'd like. Reddit is a powerhouse.
This is true. I don't touch Reddit with a 10-foot pole.
Understandable.
Yeah.
No matter what
undeniable,
R. No matter what /R.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, even with people who don't go to Reddit, they know of Reddit, they know what it's for, they know that a lot of people do post on Reddit and revolve around their communities around it too. That can't be denied.
I use Reddit quite a bit. I use Reddit for this show, as a matter of fact. Well, not in recent episodes.
It's hard to pinpoint. Like where a fandom is anymore, and I don't think there was. It was even easy to pinpoint where a fandom was in general, because the forum site that I was on was also connected to another site,
sure,
right, called KingdomHearts.net.
Yeah,
that's where all of our news was displayed at. All right. Like we had people that ran the news side of the site, which got posted on KingdomHearts3.net. Up until about like 2011, we didn't even know, like the people that frequented the forum didn't even know that there was a subset community on just the .net side. Because when the .net had to shut down, there was like 20 to fucking 50 people migrating from .net to .org.
Yeah.
And we were like, wait, there were people posting? There were people on that side? That was weird. That was like, it was like wouldn't say Twilight Zone, but like looking in a weird mirror. We were just like, what the hell? So it like, there's no exact place to pinpoint a community, but like when I think of the community, I think it's most of the time they're like a good bit of it is going to be formed around people, like the people that are the figureheads of that, the fandom in general. And Kingdom Hearts, it's going to be the key keepers, because they're the ones that like, they make the outlandish like, theory videos, like HMK, Cynical, Limit Form, or whatever. They're big names in like the Kingdom Hearts community. So like, I think no matter where you go in each subset community, there's going to be people in there that probably watch them and that bring their like their influence over there into a little bit. So
well, I'm going to steer this a little bit then. So yeah, we're talking about figureheads. Now, this is a phenomenon that's cropped up over the years now. So before, like back in like magazine days, I would say, like figureheads for me in the gaming community were the people like on the TV shows, like gaming shows, like the reviewers, that kind of thing. Like people that you would see as people of authority on the subject. But now that is not so much the case. It's more like self-made figureheads now, like content creators and stuff. Over the years, this has built up to essentially them forming their own fandoms, and people like really like take their word for and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
To the point where even like developers and publishers are seeking them out to promote their games, much like how they would do with magazines in the past. So how do you feel like platforms such as YouTube and Twitch and of like have like affected fandoms and gaming communities?
It's been a focusing type of deal, at least for me. Like Aqua had said earlier, in previous times, it was actually pretty hard to pinpoint where your community was. Before the internet, or at least before I joined the internet, because my island was a bit behind, it was whoever was the best. They were clearly the authority. They knew the most. They had put the most time into it. But with the advent of YouTube and Twitch and Twitter, these have all been places that people can flock to and either find those figureheads, those experienced folks, or become one. Honestly, having areas to put information that is oft accessed is super beneficial to a community. It does breed the opportunity for trolls, but it is actually, I think, more often than not, just genuinely, unabashedly a good thing.
I gotta agree with that. It's what's the word? It's like Dollet said, it's more of a focusing type thing. You can kind of tell where like the consensus of people's opinions are now easier just by looking at YouTube comments or Reddit threads or people posting on Twitter. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to pinpoint that stuff. Now, some companies do it a good way by they have their own forums. Like 14 has its own official forum where most of 14's like dev base or like community, they don't look outside of, they may look at Reddit, but they don't look past that.
Sure.
And where if you want something like to be seen or whatever, you need to make an account on the official forum and post it, because that's where they're gonna look. I'm not sure how it is with other fandoms or companies. Like, I know they all have official forums, but like I don't know if WoW takes more look at, like Blizzard takes more look at really Reddit or whatever. I mean, at this moment in time, we just assume Blizzard doesn't look at anything, but
I think age is a pretty big decider of that. Blizzard, WoW specifically, let's not even talk about Blizzard, the company. WoW specifically is a very old game at this point. And I think this is definitely a situation where they cannot just look at the official forums, and they do sort of have to rely on these rallying points.
Yeah.
Especially Twitter and YouTube.
And Twitch.
I actually don't even know about Twitch. The reason I say that is because Twitch is live and rambly. And if people have strong opinions, they tend to make a much more coherent and infinitely more watchable video on YouTube. So I think if we're going to establish this from like a corporate standard, then I think YouTube's probably the place to go. In terms of just people, yeah, absolutely. Twitch, you get to ask and get immediate feedback.
So I would say I'll lead this with, I'll follow up this with. So what is your good and bad experiences with like modern ways to like interact with gaming communities? Modern being Twitter, social media, Twitch, YouTube, etc.
I don't know. Like, most of my interactions with the communities that I'm like based in at the moment is primarily through Twitch and Twitter. Because while I'm not, maybe I'm not there to watch Happy play 14 or whatever, I'm there to talk to some of the people in his chat, because I know that's where most of them are going to be. Or you know, maybe I'll just like bring up something that I know Haps is like into or something like that. And that's the same with like all other 14 streamers. Twitter, on the other hand, there's a couple of fandoms that I'm not in other fandoms on Twitter, but there are like a couple things that I follow, or I'll tweet a few things that I know people that are into. But those are my ways that I prefer to like interact with people in like certain fandoms.
What are the good and the bad of them?
The good and the bad of them, because then, you know, I'll run into, you know, fuck off My Hero Academia manga side of Twitter, and they'll just be complete assholes.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
As for me, I try to keep my fingers in as well. Not so much anymore. I tried to keep my fingers in as many pies as possible, just to pull the most information. I actively used Reddit. Less of a posting place for me, more of a reading place, because it can get kind of interesting in there. For Reddit, it's pretty interesting because Reddit's self-moderated, and I think that is inherently not ideal. And I think this is something you're going to hear me say about most of these places. Because if it's just the community picking their own moderators, interesting rules happen and favorites get picked and a lot of shenanigans ensue. But upside is that's a lot of written down information. That's a lot of information just there to find. You don't have to weed through any videos. It's just there in written form. Control F, find whatever you need.
Yeah.
For things like Twitter, it's fantastic for me just to follow the people within the community whose impact will be greatest on me. So for fighting games, I'm learning how to play X character. X commentator plays Y character. I'm going to ignore them. X commentator plays X character. Boom. He's on my list of people to watch. And it's the exact same on YouTube, where I get to pick and choose what I'm after. And it's very easy to organize. And YouTube itself makes it even more simple by building your own playlists. And the bell feature for following whomever you want. Not that I use it, but it's a good idea. The bad...
And sometimes the algorithm will work in your favor.
Sometimes it's true. Perhaps they're not the biggest streamer in the world or the biggest YouTuber in the world, but somehow YouTube has said, you know, they've looked at a lot of videos related somewhat to this. Recommend it to them. And boom, suddenly you're like, oh yeah, no, that's super useful to me. And this goes past like my FGC background. Like I've done this for like just school stuff and music, and eventually it gets it right. Now, the downside to places like Twitter and YouTube, other than just some of the spicy takes, For me, it's very public. It's very public. And I think this was Aqua's issue, is there is no rule against witch hunts on Twitter. I have been very careful to avoid situations like that, even when people disagree with me in like an aggressive way over something they feel very, very strongly about. Whatever, I know what I have to do to kind of roll over, show my belly, and just avoid having a lot of people after me. But if you're going to like get into a fight there, it can be pretty bad for you. God forbid it be with a content creator with hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of people.
Oh yeah.
They offhandedly say something, offhandedly tag you. You are now in the crosshairs, and that's not ideal. As for YouTube, it's just, it's just people trolling in the comments. I think YouTube's probably my favorite place, just because it's not content you can actively cause issues with. It's all post work.
Yeah, it's like in the nature of you can't immediately share and spread this whatever it is. But YouTube is all self-contained in its own comment section. Just so.
Yeah.
I really dig a lot of aspects about YouTube in that regard. Just because it means you have to sit down and think about it. I mean, you can just slap together whatever kind of video you want, but it's not the same nature as Twitch, where it's a back and forth with the community. I'll get to that in a second. That has its own problems. Enjoying the video? Remember to like and sub. Helps out the channel a bunch, and we're grateful for everyone we get. And like you said, the comments are self-contained for a time, until eventually, if they're not dealt with, they do leak out and then issues crop up. But it's not this thing was said and boom, suddenly you have eyes on you from everywhere. And if the creator is clever, they can nip that in the bud pretty quickly. Yep. I know some people kind of do shy away from the idea of pruning the comments section, but sometimes it just needs to be done. As for Twitch is really, really unique, and being the youngest of the group, it's no surprise. It is fundamentally a similar idea to YouTube, right? So it has all the same benefits. You enjoy this thing, you find someone who's doing it, and you find someone who's doing it right now. So you can ask questions. There's a dialogue there that, depending on the size of the audience, could happen. But then there's the size of the audience, and you're live. And you have to deal with chat. You have to deal with... Well, let's just focus on chat, because I think this is really the heart of the issue. You have to have mods. Because what goes on in chat could hurt your brand, could hurt someone else's feelings, let's say, because there's some interesting things that get posted in Twitch chat, and could overall just kind of hurt any education being had. Just long copy pastas. So that's got a bit to work out in that regard, but I think the upside of a streamer seeing a question that could benefit multiple people and having like an actual answer for it is pretty sweet.
In a sense as well, Twitch does not have editing. You cannot edit what you just said. And in fact, there is a clipping thing you can do as well. You can immediately clip someone's stream.
It's true.
And link that elsewhere. So you have to have
in and out of
a big
context,
sense
though, which is the problem.
you have to take responsibility for what you broadcast live.
Yes.
People forget about this sometimes. Like in the YouTube video, you can, unless it's live, of course, you can, edit out the stupid stuff you said. In a live stream, you can't, and people can clip it. So there is a sense of responsibility you have to take too, and what you say could also affect your community too, and how
Very
they
true.
react and how they behave. And if you don't nip certain people in the bud, they can also reflect that on you too. So moderation is also something that is very important, I feel.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this also goes for, I guess it's more difficult for Twitter. it's very hard to moderate people on Twitter. Like Twitter has its like community rules, TOS, but it has a big problem of people acting terribly on Twitter.
Yeah. Death.
Really bad. Yeah. And not so much on. I mean, you can easily delete posts on YouTube and stuff too. But with Twitter, the way the nature of it is, because things can spread and spread and spread, it becomes so out of control, very fast.
So out of control so quickly is the problem.
Mm-hmm. That's the nature of being able to get information to people in an instant.
Yeah, like there is really good aspects of Twitter for its information spread. Like sometimes the news, actually legitimate news sites that you can that are not just spreading shit. Like for example, during certain movements like the Black Lives Matter movement, that Twitter was very helpful in spreading information about that. Those are positive things. But also, it is also on the same side, like that kind of information spread can also backfire as well.
Sure.
I'm not specifically talking about that movement, I mean in general.
Of course.
My goodness, it's like, it's an ever-evolving thing too. Like, how would you improve the way Twitter works?
Honestly, I don't think the answer is you can't.
There's no way.
Yeah. No, just because of the way that Twitter works, it is sort of a freedom of expression first.
It's like a double-edged sword, is what Twitter is.
Yeah.
It's easy to put into perspective. When certain people felt that their freedoms of speech were being impeded, they left the site. And there are times where that's happened more aggressively than not, and it's been noticed. And I don't think Twitter wants necessarily to breed a less toxic atmosphere. I think they want to reach as many people as possible. I don't think that they're being malicious about this. I think it's just a case of what it is. They don't want to limit the amount of people that can see this information. It's why they give you, the individual, the ability to hide your tweets and have people be unable to interact with you without first being your friend. I believe what is it called? Locking your accounts?
Yeah, it's difficult for like.
Yes,
that's for private Twitter. This is very good for people who just want to privately interact with folks. But then we have people that need to be public with like their accounts, and that doesn't work so well.
Yeah.
There is a lot of like celebrities that got harassed constantly. Even like you could ban someone, but they would just make another account so easily and continue the harassment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
that is.
There's a lot of, and I guess where we get into the probably what an actual not an actual figurehead, but like somebody that's supposed to be like a point of like authority and like knowledge of like a certain fandom, or like not even a certain fandom, but like a certain subsection of a fandom or whatever. Like you'll have people like one of the lead developers at Blizzard calling one of their big content creators an asshole on Twitter, in publicly on a Twitter that is verified, that is known to be that is like a direct connection to the company itself.
But that's easily moderated. Hear me out. This is probably a stance people will disagree with me on. That's fine. You have to allow them the ability to do it. Because they represent a company, it is not Twitter's job to moderate them. If the company then wants to take action and, fire them or suspend them or do something, then that is within the purview of the company. But they shouldn't be able to stop them from having.
No, I'm not saying it Twitter. I was just saying it leaves it open for.
And it does. It's something that shouldn't happen. You should have the capacity to think this is going to be a bad look for myself and the company I represent. But there's no stopping that.
Yeah.
See, Discord is something that's interested me recently as well. Like, we all use Discord for socializing, interpersonal relationships and stuff, friendships, also communities and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And for me, at least, it's also taken over any interaction I have on Facebook. I just go to Discord instead to interact with my friends. But it very much like, I suppose, Reddit, it has its own sub-channels, sub-discords, etc., etc. You can create an enclosed community away from the public, and in fact, most people, to reach out to new members, they use other platforms to do this and draw them in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think, for gaming communities, how do you think Discord has affected?
Discord is just the new form.
Yeah. Like how Skype was back in the day. It's just,
for instance,
the better Skype, or the
you said
the
that,
new Skype.
It's usurped Facebook for you, right?
Yes.
It's just because of how fast you can hear back from people, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you can guarantee that they hear from you and they don't get lost in the
noise,
the void,
algorithm.
The algorithm, as well as we call the void, the void sometimes.
You can't get. I think the big difference between Facebook and Discord is just how quickly you hear back from people, because it's that kind of service, and they're not going to get lost in the algorithm. Sometimes Discord just straight up loses their message, or they get the red text and have to resend it. But you're never not going to see it because it's showing you a message from 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's incredibly self-moderated as well, because each Discord I've joined, they always have their own set of rules. They always have their own moderation team. This is nothing to do with Discord themselves.
Yes.
This is all self-governed.
Oh, to an extent.
To an extent, of course. There is TOS that you have to follow along with Discord's.
Yeah.
To
Discord
service.
actually does moderate all of its servers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just most of the servers don't have anything that bad that Discord needs to step in and actually do
Yes.
Now, there have been instances, and those are usually for the really bad places.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it's generally self-governed.
Yes. Do you think this is something that will continue for a long time, or do you think even Discord itself will evolve?
Oh no,
As long as Discord's alive, well, Discord will evolve.
Yeah, Discord will eventually either evolve or die and be replaced with something new.
Mm-hmm.
It's already got a partnership with Sony for PlayStation.
Just so.
So that alone will make it evolve, because now not only is it itself, but it's also in partnership with another company that company might try to push some further like types of maybe TOS changing things into it, which will trickle down and make the individual servers evolve as well.
Yeah. Is there any open thoughts you have about basically how the good and bad of gaming communities are?
Yeah, sure. I think gaming communities is to make it too specific. I don't think gaming communities are any different than any other community. Whether it be your neighborhood, your sports team, or the MMO, or just game you play. This is a group of vastly different people coming together because they share one thing in common. Now, it's entirely possible that they share literally nothing else in common. So, I mean, the good is that you all have something you can talk about, you can feel good about, you can share it. The bad is that when the discourse turns sour, there's so many different ways for it to get really bad really fast.
Yep.
And it's kind of just the thing you have to take. It's the bad you have to take with the good.
And my thoughts is just like, I mean, communities are different no matter where you're in, but they serve the single purpose, and that's to rally around a single point that of something that you're a fan of, or something that you want to see like even more. While you do take the good with the bad, but I think it's important to do your best to try to weed out the bad of the community and not let it like fester.
Very true.
And you see it more with the older Santa communities where they didn't weed it out and it just festers in there for like ever. Or you have people saying, okay, well, this community is actually really good, but like once you get into that community or whatever, and you start seeing the bad in that community, you're kind of just like, how is this community actually good? I don't know how you change it, because like, I mean, you're one person, all right? You're one person in a fandom, and if you're the odd man out, then you're not really gonna be able to change anything. So it's kind of a bit unfortunate on that end. But I mean, yeah, like I agree. You have to take the good with the bad, but I think you need to make sure you voice that this is bad and that it should leave.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave this with like my last question. Yeah, I'm gonna like I had one way of asking this question, but I'll change it now because of what you said. So, what would your advice be if you saw something negative happening in a community? What would your advice be how to tackle it?
Point it out. Call it out. That's honestly the only thing you can do. If it's bad, and if it's like bad, like objectively it's bad, point it out. That's honestly, that's the only thing you can do. And sometimes something will happen. Sometimes something won't.
Make a loud enough racket, other people will see it and eventually get to the ears and eyes of those who need to make a difference.
Yeah. That's literally the only thing you can do. Don't beat yourself up over it if it's not changing or anything. Just like, I mean, like I'm on day 11. I'm tweeting every day that Square or Twitch has not said anything about this damn collab. Yes. Nor has the list fucking changed. Whatever. Yeah. But, I'm tweeting it every day. I get a couple of likes and retweets about it every day. And hopefully one day, like, it'll change. At this point in time, it's almost at 2 weeks, and I'm thinking it's not going to because nobody said a fucking thing. But
yeah,
I'm still gonna do it, and I'll get up to August 25th or 24th or whatever the fuck day it was. And if I get up to that point and still nothing changed, I'm gonna be very sad. But that's 2 months from now, or that's a month and a half from now.
Anything to add, Dollet?
Not really. I mean, like I said, I think he was entirely right. You just have to point it out. It's not especially in gaming communities, it's not our job as individual players to mete out justice. Point it out, bring it to the attention of those whose job it is to, deal with that, and let the authoritative figures do what they have to. Players can't wield that much power. That's how witch hunts happen.
Yeah.
Or that's how accidents happen.
Definitely. And I'm actually kind of happy with the current situation outcome, because not only, and I won't get into explaining it, but not only has the company itself already took a stance against what happened this past couple of days, it also shows it also kind of helps in the contrast between one game company into another game company, and it kind of opens up people's eyes with like, maybe something is good, or maybe something, I don't want to get into specifics, but I'm overall like okay with the outcome, because it seems like it's definitely gonna die down, but we've seen some ugly sides this past weekend. So yeah, like I said, if you see something bad in your community, no matter what community it is, call it out. But like that's literally all you can do.
Yeah, call it out. Obviously, there are some behaviors that are not desirable, And I will also say lead by example as well. There are a hell of a lot better ways to treat other people in a community, and oh gosh, yeah, kindness goes a long way, but obviously do not accept bad behavior. And there are, like, for example, in 14 there are GMs you can talk to, and they do most of the time, well, at least from my own experience as well, immediately get back to you. I've had good experiences with GMs reporting bad behavior. But even on Twitter as well, like, it's perfectly okay to express your opinion and your feelings and to like highlight things that you do not like, but just be aware that it also can get out of hand really freaking fast.
Yeah, extremely fast.
And it's very difficult to navigate this sort of thing because just of the nature of what the Twitter is as well. And it's very difficult thing to solve too. Mm-hmm. Whew. Yeah, this is a difficult topic this week. Yeah, let's end on a positive thing then. So how would you, in the future, encourage communities to take positive steps?
I think many communities are doing it innately, but as the population of the world becomes slightly more progressive, we'll call it, communities are doing a lot to foster goodwill among the players and to open themselves to as many different people as possible. And I genuinely think that they're doing the best they can, and I don't begrudge them for any setbacks they have along the way. So just, forward. Always forward.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Well, I have nothing really else to ask. Is there anything you want to ask?
No, pretty good.
Hey, cool. Take us out then.
Yeah.
With that said, what are you guys doing this week?
Classes resume. Classes resume tomorrow.
Poor Dollet.
So I will be...
Oh, that voice.
So I will be editing this. I will either be driving up to campus, and if my time during campus will be spent on my Switch, some more 3 houses when I can. And what little bit of time I'll spend at home will probably be done on Intermission and Monster Hunter. So that's me.
Yep.
And of course, SGDQ. Oh yeah, gotta get my watch on.
Yeah.
If you watch anything from that, please report back next week. Because I do like speedruns, and it's a good charity as well.
Yeah, it'll be wrapping up. If it began yesterday, I imagine it'll be wrapping up before the next episode, which is a shame. But I will let you all know what I find.
A lot of tales and
you sound tired already.
And soccer. I've been tired all day. Whatever. I planned my stream to start at 4:00 today. I fell asleep in my chair and woke up at like 4:30.
Did you?
Yeah, I woke up at like 4:30,
no.
and I was like, it can't be anywhere near 4:00 or whatever. I feel like I've only been in this chair for like 20 minutes. And then I opened my eyes and it's 4:30, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm late, guys. Tales, Soccer Wars. I'm actually probably gonna play some Soccer Wars after we finish this.
Hey.
At some point in time, I'll start up Kasane's route in Scarlet Nexus. It'll be a lot easier because you actually get to carry over the stuff you got from the first playthrough over into the second character's playthrough. So like anything like weapons and equipment and all that crap.
Nice.
You get to carry that over. And I guess I technically only need to play up until chapter 9, because after chapter 9 it's going to be literally the same thing. So I only need to get. Though. Well, at that point in time, it'll the whole gameplay will be opened up to me, so I'll be like, oh fuck yeah. So I'll slowly go through that at some point. Like I said, I have 4 games that I am scheduled to play between now and September 10th, and they're long RPGs, or long-ish RPGs. I'm throwing all of them on easy while I'm going through them. So I'm going to go through Vesperia on easy, so I don't have to think about doing anything in Vesperia. I'm gonna put Zestiria on easy because, God, playing that game again on normal or harder difficulty, and having to actually think about the game that I'm playing, is a death sentence because that game is trash. I might keep Berseria on normal because I actually enjoy that game. But we will see. Symphonia, you can't go down to easy because Symphonia doesn't have an easy mode. It's just normal or hard. Unless you've beaten the game, then you have Mania. So yeah. That's what I'll be doing this week. And the next week. And the next week. And the next week.
What about Leek?
Me? I will be playing Sky and relaxing.
Glorious.
What's relaxing?
I fucking love that game. Try Sky and maybe you'll find out. Yeah, I'm also more 14.
Play games.
More 14. I want to play more 14.
Oh, actually. I did finish my Dark Knight Relic.
Hey, very good.
So I am on the last step of my White Mage Relic, and I only need. I've got 6 out of 15 of the last items, so I just need to do a couple more Dalriadas or Delubum Regines, and then I have my White Mage Relic, and then I never have to play 14 until November again. So.
All right, well that's it for us, I guess.
Yep.
You all be good now. Talk to you next week.
No, don't tell me what to do. You don't pay my sub.
Oh well, you heard him.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.
Before you go, remember to like, comment, and sub to us. Not only does it help out the channel and let us know what you're into, but it also makes you 100% cooler than everybody else. I checked with Aqua. It's definitely true.